Hello, and welcome to this quiet place. Tonight, there is no need to think, only to drift. We are going on a journey far beyond the confines of our world, beyond the familiar stars, to the very edge of time itself. The James Webb Space Telescope, humanity's golden eye in the dark, has peered into the dawn of creation and found something that shouldn't exist. A whisper from a time before time. A paradox that soothes the mind with its immense mystery. So take a slow, deep breath. Let your body grow heavy, and allow the story of a star older than the universe to carry you into a deep and peaceful sleep. For as long as we have looked up, we have understood that everything has a beginning. Our universe, we believe, began 13.8 billion years ago. A single, silent point of infinite potential expanded, and time began its steady, forward march. This is our cosmic shore, the Big Bang. Everything we have ever seen, every galaxy, every star, every planet, must be younger than this moment. It is the fundamental rule. To see the past, we build time machines. Not of metal and gears, but of mirrors and light. The James Webb Telescope is our most powerful time machine yet. It was designed to capture the universe's first light, the first stars igniting in the primordial darkness. But light can carry secrets, and sometimes the oldest light tells the most impossible stories. Come, settle into the quiet. Find the rhythm of your own breath. A slow tide, in and out. Let the world around you soften. The edges of the room blur. The sounds of the day become distant echoes. You are here, and that is all that matters now. Imagine a single, silken thread. It connects you to every thought, every worry, every plan for tomorrow. With your next breath, you let it go. Feel the connection dissolve, a gentle release. You are unmooring from the shore of your day. The slow ascent. A lightness begins in your chest, a warmth that spreads through your limbs. It is the feeling of letting go. The gravity of the world loosens its hold. You are not rising. You are simply being lifted, drifting up, through the ceiling, through the night air, past the highest clouds, thin as spun sugar. Look down, just for a moment. See the place you just left, a patchwork of sleeping lights. A city breathing softly in the dark. Then it shrinks and shrinks until it is just a pattern on a vast, dark canvas. The concerns you held so tightly, they are down there, and you are up here. Now we turn our gaze away, toward the deep. The earth becomes a memory behind us, a silent jewel spinning on its own, a swirl of cloud, a whisper of deep blue. It is beautiful, and it is distant. Its lullaby fades into a profound silence, the velvet ocean. You have arrived. This is the true quiet. A silence so deep, it feels like a presence. It holds you. It cradles you in an infinite dark. A darkness that isn't empty. It is rich, like black velvet, and scattered across it, the stars. Not as you see them from below, not as faint, flickering points. Here they are sharp, unblinking, a spill of diamond dust across the cosmos. Some burn with a fierce blue fire, others glow with the soft warmth of an ancient ember. Each one a sun, each one a story told in a language of light. You float among them, a silent observer in a gallery of suns. There is no up. There is no down, only the gentle drift, through a quiet that sings a low, cosmic hum. The cold here does not bite. It is a clean, clarifying cold. It strips away everything but the essential. You feel weightless, not just your body, but your mind, the weight of your bones, the weight of your name, the weight of your memories. It all dissolves into the vastness. You are a point of awareness. A traveler on a sea of night. The ship is your breath, the map is the star-dusted dark. And here, in this perfect, weightless peace, in this theatre of forgotten light. We can begin to listen, listen for a whisper, older than the stars themselves, a secret waiting in the deep. Let the journey begin. Imagine with me now, let your awareness drift. Out from this room, past the gentle pull of the earth, past the silver watch face of the moon, we are floating, adrift in the great velvet quiet, the deep, silent sea between worlds, where time itself seems to slow, to breathe. And here, in this profound emptiness, we are not just dreaming, we are watching, waiting. But we are not alone in this watching. The golden eye far from us, a million miles from the memory of home. A solitary wanderer floats. It keeps its vigil in the cold and the dark. Imagine it, a delicate construction of gold and shadow, a golden sunflower turning its face not to a sun, but to the darkness, to the deepest, oldest night. It unfurls its great honeycombed mirror, a mosaic of gold catching light that has travelled for an eternity, a perfect net woven to catch the ghosts of light, the very first whispers of dawn. This is no mere machine. It is an artist, a poet, a pilgrim on a sacred journey into the past. It does not hunt, it does not conquer, it simply waits and listens. Its golden petals are not petals at all. They are an ear, the most sensitive ear ever created, tuned to a frequency of light so ancient, so stretched by the expanding void, that it has become a whisper, a sigh from the beginning of all things, a listener in the deep. Its purpose is profoundly simple, and yet impossibly vast. It was sent to the dark to listen, to eavesdrop on the universe's oldest memories, to collect the lullabies sung by the first stars. Imagine it now, this lonely traveller, this golden dream catcher, patiently gathering the faint, trembling light from the edge of time, each particle a word, each photon a syllable in a story that began before anything we know had a name. It sips on ancient starlight. It breathes in the dust of forgotten nebulas. It is our messenger to the dawn of time. Our eye, sent to witness the first stroke of light upon the canvas of nothing, to hear the first note in the grand, silent symphony, to find the story that was written before the story began. To see the beginning, you must find the quietest place in the cosmos. So we sent our golden eye on a long journey, past the silent pull of the moon, out into the deep black, to a place woven from gravity and shadow, a point of perfect balance. Imagine a point in the vast, dark ocean of space, a special, secret place, where the immense gravity of the sun, pulling one way, and the gentle, familiar gravity of our Earth, pulling the other, meet in a perfect, silent agreement. It is not a struggle, not a war of cosmic forces. It is a dance, a delicate, invisible waltz that holds you in place, a point of impossible equilibrium, where you can simply float, suspended, held in a gravitational cradle, a million miles from home. This is where Webb rests, its quiet harbour in the endless sea of night, forever tethered to us by these unseen threads, perfectly still, perfectly poised, a constant midnight. And from this harbour it has an uninterrupted view, because here, in this specific, magical alignment, our Earth becomes a shield. It floats precisely between the telescope and the blinding sun, a great, dark parasol, held up to block the glare. It grants Webb a profound gift, the gift of a constant, unending midnight. There is no day, there is no night, only a perpetual velvet twilight, free from the sun's distracting light, free from the warmth radiating from our own world. The telescope can cool its senses, settle its intricate soul, and open its hexagonal eye to the void, an unblinking gaze, turned away from us, away from our star, and toward the very edge of time itself, Here, in the perfect stillness, in the cold, protected dark, it waits, it listens, it gathers the faintest whispers of light, the very first echoes of the dawn. Imagine with me. Think of a message, a single precious letter, written on a whisper, placed in a bottle, and cast into the sea. Not a sea of water, but a sea of time and space, the cosmic ocean, vast, silent, deep. The messenger is light itself, the fastest thing we know, a speed that is almost a myth, a constant faithful traveler. This messenger begins its journey, from the edge of everything. From a place so far away, the distance becomes a feeling, not a number. It leaves its home, a young galaxy just being born, a swirl of new stars, and it begins its long journey to us. It travels on, through silent, sleeping voids, past islands of starlight that have lived and died, past nebulae that bloom and fade like cosmic flowers. For 1 billion years, then 5 billion years, then 10, the universe grows up around this lonely traveler. Worlds are born, suns ignite and grow old. Our own solar system forms from a cloud of dust, and still the light travels, a single patient photon, carrying one single image, one single moment, a ghost of light, and then after 13 billion years, after a journey we can barely comprehend, it ends. It falls into the golden eye of Webb, like a single drop of ancient rain, into a silent, waiting pool. And this is the secret you must understand, the secret that unwinds time. The light we catch is not a message from now. It is a message from then. It is a fossil made of light, perfectly preserved. The galaxy that sent this message, the star that shed this light, may not even exist anymore. It has lived its life, changed, grown. Perhaps it has faded away entirely. We are not looking at a living thing. We are looking at its memory. We are seeing its ghost. The James Webb Telescope is not just a window, it is a time machine. Every image it captures is a photograph, from the distant, distant past, a picture of an ancestor. What you see, what we see, is a galaxy as it was when the universe was just a baby, when space itself was young and new. It is a picture of an infant, a swirling, brilliant child, taking its first breath in the cold, dark nursery of space. We are, in the most real sense, cosmic archaeologists, brushing the dust of ages from a forgotten truth. And the truth is this: the further we look out, the deeper we look back. Each ray of light is an echo of a birth, a whisper from a beginning we are only now beginning to hear. You are connected to that moment. Your mind is touching the dawn of time, a ghost of light, traveling for eons, just to be seen by you. Here, now. Let us drift back now. Further back, before the first dawn, before the very idea of a sunrise. We are floating in an age of profound quiet, an age of waiting. Imagine the universe as a vast, dark room. The great, roaring fire of creation has cooled. Its brilliant light has stretched and thinned and faded. What's left is not blackness, not an empty void, but a soft, endless twilight, the great dimming. This is the cosmic dark age, a time measured in hundreds of millions of years, a span of existence so patient, so still. The universe is filled with a mist, a gentle, uniform fog of hydrogen atoms. The first elements, born from the initial fire, they hang suspended. Everywhere and nowhere. There are no stars yet, no galaxies to pinwheel through the void, no planets to catch the light. There is only this calm, this cosmic sea without a shore. A veil of gas, perfectly smooth, perfectly serene. Imagine dipping your hand into a cloud. This is the texture of the young cosmos, cool, quiet, and full of unseen potential. A universe holding its breath, but it is not empty of purpose. Something is at work here, a silent, invisible force, gravity. In this immense quiet, gravity is not a pull, it is a whisper, a gentle suggestion. It murmurs to the atoms of hydrogen. It invites them closer. Across millions of light years, the slightest, most subtle variations in the mist begin to answer the call. One region, infinitesimally more dense than its neighbor, begins to draw more of the mist to itself. It is the patient sculptor, working on a canvas of darkness. Slowly, imperceptibly, threads of gas begin to form, wisps in the cosmic fog, like thoughts forming in a sleeping mind. These are the first sketches of galaxies, the first blueprints of everything that will ever be. The universe is gathering itself, preparing for its next great act. And it does so in absolute, unbroken silence. The patient promise of light within these slowly gathering clouds, the real magic is brewing. The mist thickens, the whispers of gravity become a hum, pockets of gas grow dense, and denser still. They are the first cosmic seeds, planted in a field of darkness, waiting for the right moment. As the hydrogen atoms are drawn ever closer, a pressure builds. A warmth begins to glow deep within the heart of the largest clouds. It is not light yet, not a star, but a promise, a dull embryonic heat. The universe is a womb, nurturing its first children of light. The stage is set. The fuel is gathered. The very first stellar heart is about to take its first beat. But for now, only the waiting, only the dark, a silence so deep you can almost hear the future. And so, a choice is made, not to look at the roaring wonders, not the cosmic jewels that shout their presence across the void, not the great, swirling titans of gas and fire we already know. Instead, we turn our gaze elsewhere. We ask our golden eye to look at nothing. Imagine this with me. Hold your arm out to the night sky. At arm's length, a single grain of sand. That is the size of the window we choose. A tiny square of absolute black. A patch of sky so dark, so seemingly barren, that other eyes have passed over it for generations. A forgotten corner, an empty page. And in this quiet corner, the work begins. The patience of a golden eye. The great honeycomb mirror settles, its gaze fixed, unblinking. For 1 hour it stares, collecting the faintest whispers of light, the echoes that have traveled for an eternity to arrive. For 10 hours it stares, the universe breathes, galaxies spin, stars are born and die. And Webb does not move. Its focus is absolute. For 50 hours it stares, a silent golden sentinel, holding perfectly still in the frozen dark, gathering light the way a cupped hand gathers rain. One drop, then another, each photon, a single word from a forgotten sentence. 100 hours, 200 hours. The clock ticks on Earth, but out here, time is different. Time is the very thing being captured. We are not taking a picture of a place. We are taking a picture of time itself. Imagine the stillness required, the deep, meditative focus, to stare into the void for hundreds of hours, trusting that the emptiness is not empty at all, believing that the deepest silence holds the oldest song. The blank canvas of the deep field begins to fill, not with the stroke of a brush, but with the slow, deliberate arrival of ancient travelers. Fossil light, light that began its journey before our world had oceans. Before our sun was even a dream of dust. This is the art of seeing what isn't there, the discipline of the long gaze, letting the darkness speak, letting the void fill itself. The blackness is no longer uniform. It begins to shimmer, to resolve. The empty page is filling with script. The silence is beginning to hum with a faint, impossibly old melody. The nothing is slowly, patiently, becoming everything. Imagine a great golden hand, held open to the dark. It does not grasp, it does not seek, it simply waits. This is the nature of our gaze into the past, a patient, silent vigil. We have opened an eye made of gold and honeycombs, and now we let the universe speak, not in a shout but in the quietest of murmurs. Think of it as catching the oldest rain imaginable, a rain that has been falling for longer than time itself. Each drop is a single photon, a tiny packet of light, weary from its journey, faint, almost lost in the velvet expanse. Our golden mirror is a vast, calm lake, and we are waiting for these ancient raindrops to land. One by one, a harvest of echoes. There is no rush. There cannot be. The story we are trying to read was not written in bold letters. It was whispered once, and the echo of that whisper has been traveling ever since. So we hold our golden bucket out to the cosmos, and we listen for the fall of each drop. A gentle shimmer, a single pixel on a vast sensor. That is one drop, one fragment of a forgotten word. Then another, minutes later, hours later. A second drop joins the first, then a third. This is a gathering of ghosts, a slow accumulation of light. We are letting the image build itself, photon by photon, like frost forming on a cold window pane. At first it is nothing, a random speckling of cold, but with patience a pattern emerges, a crystal forms, a feather, a forest of ice. We are collecting these whispers of light, on a web so sensitive it can feel the warmth of a single star from across an ocean of nothingness. Each whisper adds to the one before it. The signal is faint, buried in the deep hum of the cosmos. But we let the whispers collect. We let the raindrops fill our golden basin, slowly, deliberately, until the murmur becomes a voice, until the scattered drops become a pool deep enough to reflect a face. The face of something impossibly old, something waiting for us in the quiet rain of time. It did not arrive with a sound. It did not announce itself with a flash. It simply fell, like the softest rain you have never heard, a cosmic mist of pure information, a ghost of light finally coming home. Imagine this stream, this current of memory, flowing through the absolute quiet of space, past the orbit of Mars, past our own dreaming moon, a journey measured in light years, ending in a moment of the silent arrival. It found our planet turned toward the dark, and on the surface, great metal flowers, dishes of white and steel cupped toward the abyss. Listening, always listening for a whisper from forever. The data poured into them, not a wave but a current, a steady invisible river of numbers, each digit a drop of water from an ancient sea, flowing without resistance, absorbed without a sigh. This was not a message in a bottle. This was the ocean itself, arriving at our shore. From these listening posts the stream flowed on, through veins of glass and light buried deep within the earth, a pulse of silent code, a ghost in our own machine. Each number a pixel's memory, each sequence a specific shade of darkness, or a glimmer of impossible light. The journey was now measured in milliseconds, from a dish in a sleeping desert to a server in a quiet, humming room, the raw language of the universe, waiting for a voice, waiting for a shape, translating the whisper. The machines did not feel awe. They do not know the poetry of distance. They only followed their elegant purpose. Their task was a sacred one. Imagine a loom, a great, silent, digital loom. And this river of numbers is the thread. The computers began to weave, taking the cold, hard logic, the ones and the zeros, and spinning them back into their first form, back into light. They were rebuilding a photon's memory, reconstructing a moment from before the dawn, a forgotten color, a lost temperature, an echo of something that should not be there. The code flowed, the threads were woven, and slowly a tapestry of the void began to form on a screen, a field of perfect deep black, the elegant velvet nothing we have come to know so well, the emptiness between the notes of a cosmic song, so much black, so much beautiful, patient nothing. But then, deep within the data, in the very heart of the loom, a single thread glowed differently, one sequence of numbers that was not like the others, one persistent whisper that refused to be silence. The machine translated it. It gave it a place, a coordinate, a value of light. And there it was, on a screen filled with the darkness of a young universe, a single point, fainter than a candle seen from a distant mountain, a lonely pixel, a seed of light. It did not burn, it did not blaze, it simply was. A quiet, patient messenger, waiting for us to see, waiting for us to understand. A fleck of dust from a time before time, held in a digital breath, a single, impossible question, now given a form. And so we drift deeper, past the familiar spiral arms of galaxies you know, beyond the chaotic nurseries of newborn stars. We are looking for something else entirely, something quiet, something almost lost, a cosmic ember there. Do you see it? It is not a brilliant flash, not a diamond on black velvet. It is a whisper of light, a single, lonely point, so subtle it is almost a memory. Imagine the last ember in a dying fire, long after the flames have gone, long after the heat has fled. It holds no warmth, it gives no light to see by. It simply is, a dull, persistent cherry red, a ghostly glow at the very edge of sight. This is not the light of a star. It is the memory of a light, faded by time, stretched by an impossible journey. It has traveled from a place we cannot name, from a time before time had a name. It is a breath held for eternity, a quiet glow from the hearth of creation, a single, patient ember, waiting in the endless, silent dark, waiting for an eye to finally find it. Sir, and so we drift deeper, past the spiral arms of infant galaxies, past the shimmering veils of cosmic dust. Our focus narrows, our breathing slows. Imagine the grandest tapestry you have ever seen, woven with threads of silver and gold. Now, imagine searching that tapestry for a single misplaced fiber, almost invisible, easily missed. Our gaze settles on such a point, not on a spectacle, not on a blazing nebula, but on a whisper, a single faint ember, glowing in the forever dark, so distant, so quiet. It barely registers, a fleck of dust on the great cosmic lens. And yet, something holds us here, something in its faint, tired light. Its light is a story, a message in a bottle, cast across an ocean of time, written in a language of color and heat we thought we knew, but the story it tells is impossible. A whisper before the dawn. This is a star, a solitary point of fire, just like countless others we have catalogued. But when we listen to its light, when we translate its ancient song, the lyrics are wrong, the numbers do not align, the timeline fractures. According to everything we know, every model we have built, every law we have written, this star should not be there. It should not exist. Its light speaks of an age that predates age itself. And so we give it a name, not a string of numbers, but a name for something that haunts the edges of our understanding, for a mystery that looks back at us from the abyss. We call it the ghost of time. Some, in hushed tones, call it the impossible star, a phantom on the universal stage. This feeling is not entirely new. It is an echo of an older question, a riddle that has puzzled us before, but one we filed away, one we explained away. You see, we have met a ghost before. The first anomaly years ago, we found another, a star in our own cosmic neighborhood. We called it Methuselah, named for the one who lived to a great, impossible age. Because the star, too, seemed to defy time. It appeared to be older than the universe that contained it. A paradox, a beautiful, confounding paradox. We called it a cosmic accounting error, a miscalculation in our methods. We adjusted our understanding. We smoothed the edges of the timeline. We told ourselves we had solved the riddle, that we simply needed a better calculator. But this new ember, this ghost that James Webb has shown us, is not a rounding error. It is not on the edge of the paradox. It sits at its very heart. It does not whisper its impossible age. It sings it. From a time before the song of our universe began. It asks us to reconsider the very first page, to wonder if the book of time began not with a word, but with a silence that was already ancient, a silence that was already watching, waiting. How does one ask a star its age? We cannot hear its voice across the silent gulf. We can only watch its light, a steady, ancient glow. But within that light, a story is written, a secret signature. Imagine a river flowing through time. The first waters are pure, clear, just the essence of water itself. But as the river flows, it picks up silt from the land, minerals from the stone, memories of the earth it has touched. By looking at the water, you can tell how far it has traveled, how old its journey is. We do the same with starlight, a cosmic fingerprint. We look for something astronomers call metallicity. It is a poetic term, a gentle misnomer. It isn't about iron or gold, not really. It is about everything that came after the very beginning, every element heavier than the first two. The whisper of carbon, the trace of oxygen, the ghost of neon. These are the river's silt, the universe's memory. Each star carries this fingerprint. A unique blend of elements, a signature passed down through cosmic generations. And by reading this signature, we can trace its lineage, all the way back to the dawn. The first children of light imagine the first stars. The primordial giants, born from a universe that knew only two things, hydrogen and helium. That is all there was, a clean slate, a blank page. These first children of light were woven from this purity. They were immense, untainted, holding nothing in their hearts but the simplest, oldest gas in existence. Their light was a pure, unfiltered song, a universe with no ancestors, no history to carry. They were the beginning of the story, the gift of stardust. But their lives were brilliant and brief. These titans burned through their fuel with an impossible fire, and in their final glorious moments they gave a gift to the void. They collapsed and bloomed into supernovae, the first celestial forges. And inside that unimaginable heat, new things were born. The simple hydrogen and helium were crushed together, creating the heavier elements, the carbon of our bodies, the oxygen we breathe, the iron in our blood. These dying stars scattered their ashes across the cosmos, a fine, elemental dust. The inheritance for all that would come next, a universe of echoes. From these enriched clouds, new stars were born, a second generation, and a third, and on and on. Our own sun is one of these later children, a star of a later season. It was born from a nebula seeded with the dust of countless ancestors. It is beautifully polluted, rich with the echoes of stars that lived and died long ago. So when we look at a star, we see a paradox, The more of these metals it holds, the more of this ancestral dust it carries, the younger it is. It has had more generations before it to enrich the clouds from which it was made. To find the oldest stars, we must look for the purest, the ones with almost no fingerprint, the ones who remember the clean, clear water at the river's source. We are looking for the light of the first children, a faint glimmer from the edge of time. And so we apply this principle to our traveler, to this impossible star. We listen to the song its light sings across the void. And the song is simple, pure, elemental. It is a star born from a quiet place, a time before the cosmos learned its own complexity. Imagine a river at its very source, pure water, unburdened by the minerals of a long journey, clear and new. This star is that source, a wellspring of ancient light. It holds almost none of the heavy dust of later ages. It is an echo from the universe's first breath, one of the very first children of the light, the signature of purity. This is its truth, its deepest secret. Its chemical makeup is not just a list of elements, it is a story. It is a birth certificate written in hydrogen and helium, a seal attesting to its birth in an impossibly early dawn. It is a memory of the universe as it once was. Simple, pristine, and utterly new. And so, the data begins to flow. Imagine a river of light, a stream of ancient photons, traveling for an eternity, to finally rest in the heart of a machine. We are asking this machine to listen, to translate a story told in fire and shadow. The first question is simple. How bright is this distant candle? The machine measures the stream of light. The next question. How hot is its flame? The machine reads its color, a delicate shift from blue to red. And the final question. What is its soul made of? The machine deciphers its chemical song, the faint signature of hydrogen, the whisper of forgotten metals. The computers begin their work, not with a roar but with a hum, a silent digital meditation, weaving together brightness and heat and composition, calculating the long road back to a star's birth. And then, a number appears, a single answer on a quiet screen. It must be an error, a flicker in the system, a ghost in the code. A piece of dust on the mirror of the world. It is an impossible age, a number that should not exist, the unwavering echo. And so, you wipe the screen clean. You ask the river of light to tell its story again. The models run once more. The silent hum fills the space between breaths. Every variable is checked. Every pathway of logic is confirmed. The screen refreshes, and the number returns. It has not changed. It has not moved. It waits there, patient and serene. A third time, a fourth. You reset the entire system. You ask the question in a different language, a different model. You plead with the laws of mathematics, hoping for a different answer, hoping for a number that makes sense. But the echo does not fade. The number remains. Solid. Absolute. It is no longer an error. It is a fact. A quiet, impossible truth, looking back at us from the edge of time. So let us float here for a moment longer, drifting in this quiet, cosmic harbor. Allow the numbers to approach you now, not as sharp, cold figures on a page, but as feelings, as sensations. Imagine the weight of ancient water in your hands, or the soft, resonant echo in a vast, empty cathedral. This is the language of cosmic time. It does not rush, it simply is. Let your mind become still, like a deep, placid lake, ready to receive the gentlest of ripples. And now, a single idea forms on that still surface. Let us cradle it in our awareness. It is the age of everything we can see, everything we know, the grand unfolding tapestry of space-time itself, our universe, our beginning. And if you listen closely, you can hear its age. It is not a shout, but a whisper, a deep, resonant hum from the heart of creation. 13.8 billion years. Let that number wash over you. 13.8 billion years. Imagine that immense span of time, a slow cosmic tide, pulling the first atoms into existence, birthing the first galaxies from clouds of dust and dreams. That is the age of our home, our story, and now let us gently turn our gaze toward a single distant point of light, an ancient, solitary star, a quiet whisper from the very dawn of all things, a star we call Methuselah, after the one who lived so long. It has been watching the universe unfold for eons, and when we listen to its story, a story told not in words but in faint, shimmering photons, it sings a different song. It holds a different memory, a slightly older, slightly deeper melody. The number it whispers back to us is 14.5 billion years. Feel the gentle, profound weight of that number, 14.5 billion years. A history that feels even more ancient. And here, in this calm and peaceful space, we rest. We arrive at the heart of a beautiful paradox. We have found a riddle written in starlight. The two numbers sit softly in our minds, side by side. Our universe, our home, our creator, is 13.8 billion years old. And yet this star, a single child of that vast universe, seems to be 14.5 billion years old. It is not a clash. It is not an error. It is a gentle contradiction, a quiet, beautiful impossibility. Can you imagine such a thing? A child who is older than its own parent, a single wave that crested before the ocean was born. It is like finding a perfect, intricate fossil in a stone that formed millions of years before life began, like hearing a clear, perfect melody before the first musical note was ever played. The numbers suggest this star was already shining, its light already traveling through the void before there was a cosmos to shine in. A single, solitary candle, burning brightly in a room that was yet to be built. This is not a problem for us to solve tonight. It is not a crisis in our understanding. Do not let it trouble your mind. Instead, see it for what it is. A deep, profound, cosmic riddle. A mystery that invites us not to struggle but to wonder. A lullaby from a time that, perhaps, existed before time. A gentle question we can carry with us as we drift deeper into sleep. It began not as a thunderclap, but as a whisper, a note of music where silence was expected. Imagine a single astronomer, late at night, bathed in the cool blue light of a screen, looking at a ghost, a point of light that should not be there, a color that should not exist. The whisper did not stay in one room for long. It traveled on invisible currents, through cables buried under oceans. It bloomed on screens in Tokyo, in Munich, in Pasadena. A silent digital ripple spreading through the still pond of human knowledge. There was no panic, no frantic tearing of paper or shouting in hallways. The moment was too large for that, too profound. A symphony of silence instead, a great quiet fell, a collective inward breath. Thousands of the world's most brilliant minds, scattered across the globe, all stopped at once. They looked up from their equations. They looked away from their telescopes. And they listened. They listened to the hum of this impossibility. It was a symphony of shared silence, a global pause. Each scientist, in their own quiet space, felt the same thing. Not the cold dread of being wrong, but the electric, humbling awe of a mystery far deeper than they had ever dared to dream. Imagine you have spent a lifetime meticulously drawing a map. You have charted every river, every coastline, every mountain peak. The map is your life's work. It is beautiful and it is true. Then one day you walk to the northernmost edge of your own chart, and you discover it is not an edge at all. It is the shore of a new, unknown ocean, an ocean that stretches on under a sky of unfamiliar stars. You do not burn the map. It is still beautiful, it is still true for the land it describes, but you fall to your knees on that new shore. Humbled, speechless, you feel the immensity, you feel the gift of your own ignorance. This is how they felt. A key to a larger room. This paradox was not a wall they had run into. It was a door they had never known was there, in a room they thought they knew completely. Our understanding of the universe? It was a house. A grand and beautiful house built over centuries. Each new theory was a new window, each equation a stone in the foundation. We knew its every corner. We felt safe inside. And this discovery, this ancient, impossible light, it was not a storm threatening to tear the house down. It was a key, a small, intricate key left on a table. A key that fit a lock we hadn't seen. A key that opened the door into a larger room. And what is in that room? We do not know. Perhaps it is not a room, but a grand hallway. Perhaps it is a garden, open to an even wider sky. The fear of the unknown was replaced by a quiet, reverent curiosity. The pressure to have all the answers dissolved. In its place, the simple, profound freedom to ask a new question. The story of everything did not end. It had not been proven false. It had just been revealed as a single verse in a much, much longer poem. And for the first time in a long time, no one knew the next line. And it was beautiful. Let us drift backward now, further and further, past the swirling arms of the galaxies, past the blue glow of the first stars. We are traveling to the very beginning, to a time before time, an origin story we might call the silent unfolding. Forget the name you know, forget the violent crash. There was no bang, there was no cosmic shout, there was only a whisper. Imagine a seed, a point of pure, sleeping potential, perfectly still in the velvet nothing. And in that profound silence, it began to bloom. Space-time, unfurling like the petals of a lotus, a silent, slow, graceful blossoming. Not an explosion breaking things apart, but a creation, breathing things together. Every law, every force, every future particle, held within that single, unified breath. A serene expansion, a thought becoming a reality. The universe opening its eyes for the very first time. Let us drift back now, further and further, past the swirling arms of the oldest galaxies, past the silent fire of the very first star. We are traveling to a time before time was measured, to an age before the first story could be written in light. We have arrived in a universe unseeing. Imagine this place. There is no up, there is no down, there is no here or there. There is only within, a boundless, radiant fog. You are floating now, weightless in this cosmic womb, an ocean of primordial plasma. It is not dark, it is the opposite of dark. It is a light so complete, so absolute, it is blinding. An incandescent mist that presses in from all sides, a pressure beyond all measure, a heat that transcends the very concept of fire, hotter than the furious heart of any sun that will ever be born. This is the forge of creation, the cradle of everything that is and ever will be. Here, in this swirling, seamless glow, all things are one. The dance between matter and energy has not yet begun, for the dancers are still a single, unified being, a perfect, vibrating hum of pure potential, a seamless tapestry of becoming. The universe is a single, coherent thought held in an infinite moment. And what of the light, Oh, the light is here. It is everywhere, a trillion sparks born in every conceivable instant. But it cannot travel. It cannot escape. It cannot begin its long journey across the void, because there is no void. Every photon is a captive of this glorious, opaque plasma. It is born. It takes a single, infinitesimal step, and it is immediately swallowed again, reborn and reabsorbed. A constant, silent flicker in an endless, uniform glow. Light here is a thought without a mind to think it, a word without a voice to speak it. It is a universe filled to the brim with light that has never known sight, a perfect, luminous prison, a cosmos holding its breath, waiting for the command, waiting for its eyes to open. Imagine the universe as a vast, glowing fog, a fevered mist of pure light and energy. So hot, so dense, that light itself was trapped. A prisoner within its own creation. It could not travel, it could not shine. The cosmos was a brilliant, blinding white, yet it was a world without sight, a sea of potential holding its breath. But all fevers must break, all storms must calm. Slowly, gently, a great cooling began. A stillness descended upon the cosmic ocean. The frantic dance of tiny particles began to slow. Wandering sparks found their partners. Lone souls found their homes, and for the very first time, they held each other, forming the first simple atoms. And in that moment of connection, the universe became clear. The first sigh. Imagine the fog lifting in an instant, the mist parting across all of existence. The light, so long held captive, was finally set free. A silent explosion of pure radiance, rushing outwards in every direction. This was the first light of the universe, its first exhalation, a gentle, golden wave that filled all of space. And that wave has never stopped traveling. It has cooled, it has stretched, it has faded to a whisper, a gentle hum just above the absolute cold. An echo of that first sigh, the oldest story we have ever heard, and if you listen, in the deepest quiet, you can almost feel it still. The soft, steady pulse of a universe just beginning. And so we drift toward a fundamental truth, a cosmic law written not in ink, but in light. It whispers a simple, profound instruction. Nothing you see can be older than the seeing itself. Nothing we observe can predate the first observation. Imagine the past as a vast, quiet coastline. We are standing on the shore of now, looking back. We see the light from distant ages, like ships on the horizon. Further and further we look, deeper and deeper into the ocean of what was. But there is a point where the ocean ends, or rather where it begins. There is a final shore, a glowing coastline from which the entire sea of time originates. This first light is that shore. It is the absolute boundary, the final horizon of our observational past. It is the wall at the beginning of time. Think of this name not as a barrier, but as a foundation. It is not a wall of brick or stone, it is a wall of dawn. A curtain of nascent glow, woven from the universe's first morning. It is the singular moment when darkness first gave way to light, the first event that could ever be witnessed. And the law of this wall is gentle, but absolute. Every structure you have ever known, every swirling galaxy, every distant quasar, every single star burning in the velvet dark, must be younger than this wall. It must be. The foundation is laid before the house is built. The canvas is stretched before the first stroke of paint. The sound exists only after the string is plucked. No river can flow from a place before its source. No story can contain a word before its first word. Every spiral arm of the Milky Way, every cluster of ancient globular stars, every black hole, sleeping in the heart of a galaxy. They are all descendants of this moment. They are the children of this first dawn. They are structures built on the safe ground, on this side of the wall. Nothing we can ever hope to see, no object our telescopes can ever resolve, can be older than the light that first made seeing possible. It is the ultimate ancestor, the first cause in the long, beautiful chain of cosmic consequence. Everything, all of it, is born of this one singular dawn, held within this one final boundary, the beautiful, unbreachable wall, at the very beginning of time. We have walked to the very edge of the beginning, you and I. We have followed the starlight back through the long, dark hallways of time. We have stood at the threshold of the first moment, a great, silent wall from which our entire universe blooms. We believed this wall was solid, final, the absolute start. But the universe, in its quiet and patient way, loves to whisper secrets through solid walls. And the James Webb Telescope, it has learned how to listen. Imagine putting your ear to that wall, that first moment, and hearing a faint heartbeat from the other side. A light from before the light. There is a star, a single point of light in the velvet darkness. We have given it many names in our books, but tonight it is simply the impossible star. Because this star holds a paradox in its heart of fire, a story that should not be. Think of our universe as a great, dark room. The Big Bang was the moment someone flicked the switch, and all the light, all the galaxies, all the stars, they all began to glow after that moment. That is the rule, the one unbreakable law of the cosmic house. But this star is a candle that was burning before the room was even built. Its light is older than the light switch. Webb looks at this elder, this ancient one, and the numbers it sends back are gentle and soft, but they ripple through everything we know. They tell a story of a light that shone in the darkness, before the darkness had a name. It is a whisper from a time we believed was silent, a soft glow from a room we were certain was empty, an echo on a different shore. We have always imagined our cosmic origin as a shoreline. The Big Bang is the place where the great ocean of existence meets the land of nothingness. Everything we are, everything we see, is a wave washing upon this one singular shore. We believed we were looking back at the first wave. But this impossible star is not a part of that wave. It is something else. It is a piece of driftwood on the sand, made from a tree that never grew on our coast. It is a footprint left by a traveler who arrived from a different ocean. It stands on the other side of that wall we built in our minds. It challenges the very idea of a single shore. It suggests that perhaps our ocean is just one body of water, touching another and another still. That our Big Bang was not the first sound, but an echo of something else. This star does not shout. It does not break our theories with a crash. It simply hums, an ancient, impossible frequency. It tells us the story is larger. The silence before our beginning was not silent at all. It was simply the pause between notes in a much, much older song. And as you drift now, you can almost hear it. A gentle light, a quiet hum, a story from beyond the shore. And so, we are left with a quiet paradox, a story written before the book existed, a child older than its parent, an echo that arrives before the sound. How do we hold such an impossible thought? How do we reconcile this beautiful, silent contradiction written in the starlight? We begin by breathing. In and out. We begin with the simplest path, the gentlest question. A question not of cosmic law, but of human hands. A question of measurement. Let us drift into our first possible answer. A place we might call a margin for a dream. Imagine that every number we measure, Every great age we declare is not a sharp, cold point of light. It is more like a soft flame. It has a core, bright and certain. But around it there is a halo, a gentle, shimmering aura of perhaps. This is the beautiful honesty of science. It doesn't claim to know with perfect, final clarity. It breathes. It allows for a soft focus at the edges. This halo of possibility, this gentle blur, has a name. It is a margin of error. But let's think of it as a margin for a dream, a whisper of what if. The age of this ancient star, Methuselah, is not one single, unchangeable number. It is a range of possibilities, a spectrum of maybes. 13 billion years is its bright core, but its halo stretches just a little. The age of our universe, too, is not a final spoken word. It is a grand cosmic estimate, a profound and majestic song. And this song also has a halo, a soft edge of possibility. Now, just imagine, let your mind drift to this soft edge. What if this star, this impossible star, is living at the youngest edge of its halo, the youngest it could possibly be and still be itself, just a fraction younger than we first thought? And what if the cosmos, our grand and beautiful home, is stretching at the very oldest edge of its own story? The oldest it could possibly be within its own halo of knowing, just a breath older than our calculations suggest. Imagine these two halos, one from the star, one from the universe. See them drifting towards one another across the dark, the star's edge reaching down, the universe's edge reaching up, and in the space between, they almost touch. They might even overlap. The impossible paradox gently dissolves, like a mist in the morning sun. The child is no longer older than the parent. The story now fits within the book. Perhaps it was simply a trick of the light, a story told from two different perspectives, a grand cosmic puzzle, solved by the simple, humble admission that we are always, always learning to see. Or perhaps the paradox is not out there in the deep field of glass and light. Perhaps the paradox is in here, behind our own eyes. Imagine that everything we know, every rule we have written for the cosmos, is a story we learned from watching the local stars, the sun, its neighbors, the familiar constellations. We have studied them, measured their breath, their pulse. We created a clock from their lives, a beautiful, intricate timepiece that explains how a star is born, how it lives, and how it fades. We are so proud of this clock. It ticks with such mathematical precision. But what if we have only ever studied one kind of clock? What if the universe, in its infancy, built something entirely different? Let us drift back, further than any light we have seen, back to a time before the stars we know, before the dust, before the heavy elements forged in stellar hearts. Imagine a universe of profound simplicity. A vast, quiet ocean of hydrogen, a clean page, and into this silence the first lights begin to gather, not with the fury of modern stars, but perhaps with a gentle, patient coalescence. They are the firstborn, the pioneers. They have no ancestors to guide them, no stellar ghosts to enrich their chemistry. They are made of nothing but the beginning itself. And so perhaps they burned with a different kind of fire. This is the second door we can open, a door that leads not to a universe before our own, but to a deeper understanding of it. Consider this fire. It is not the desperate, raging fire of a star crowded by nebulae, feasting on cosmic debris. It is a slow, meditative burn, a pure flame, fed by pure fuel. What if these first children of the cosmos did not live by the frantic rules of their descendants? What if their hearts beat to a different rhythm, a slower, deeper, more resonant pulse? Imagine a forge that does not roar, but hums, an engine that does not consume its fuel, but transforms it with an impossible efficiency, an alchemy that stretches a moment of life into an apparent eternity. Their light, then, is not an honest measure of their age. It is a masterpiece of illusion. They live their brilliant, powerful lives in a flash, a cosmic instant. But the light they release is old from the moment of its birth. It is born with the spectral wrinkles of time. It wears the color of a star that has been burning for ages beyond imagining. It is a song, sung in a youthful voice, but with the cadence and gravity of an ancient hymn. The James Webb Telescope does not see a star older than time. It sees an artist, a master of disguise. These primordial stars are not ghosts from a previous existence. They are simply the universe's first, and perhaps most subtle, secret. They show us that our beautiful clock, our trusted model of the heavens, may only tell one kind of time. And out there, in the beginning, the universe was counting differently. It was measuring its age not in frantic ticks, but in long, slow, hypnotic breaths. And we are just now learning to listen. But perhaps we are asking the wrong question. We have been staring at the child, this ancient, impossible star, and we have been asking how it could exist. But what if the star is not the paradox? What if the paradox is our clock? Imagine you are trying to measure an immense, dark room. All you have is the sound of your own voice. You shout into the darkness, and you wait for the echo. From the time it takes the echo to return, you can imagine the shape of the room. You can measure its walls. Our measurement of the universe is something like that. We listen for the echoes of the beginning, the faint, ancient light from the dawn of time, and from its journey, from the way it has stretched and faded, we calculate the age of everything. We have built our cosmic clock from this echo. 13.8 billion years. A shifting cosmic clock. But this calculation rests on a single, grand assumption. It assumes we know how fast the echo has been traveling. It assumes the universe has been expanding at a predictable rate. We look out at the cosmos today. We see the galaxies rushing away from us, like leaves on a vast, dark river, and we measure the speed of that river's current, the rate of its flow. This is the breath of the cosmos, a steady, rhythmic expansion. We gave it a name, the Hubble constant. It is the tempo of the universe's song, and by listening to that tempo today, we believe we can rewind the music, note by note, measure by measure, all the way back to the first silent beat, the moment before the song began. This is how we arrived at our number, our 13.8 billion years, by rewinding today's tempo, the ghost in the machine. But what if the tempo has not always been the same? What if the river did not always flow at this speed? In the quiet mathematics of space-time, there is a ghost, a mysterious, unseen force, a pressure that acts on the fabric of reality itself. We call it dark energy. It is a name we give to our own profound ignorance, a placeholder for a force we can feel, but cannot see. This energy does not pull things together, like gravity. It pushes them apart. It is an unseen current in the great cosmic river. And this current is getting stronger. It is making the river of space flow faster today than it did 1 billion years ago, and faster 1 billion years ago than it did at the dawn of time. The expansion is not just happening, it is accelerating. And here, in this quiet acceleration, our clock may falter. If the river is flowing faster now, then using today's speed to rewind time is a mistake. It is like measuring a marathon runner's final sprint and assuming they ran the entire race at that impossible pace. You would calculate a much shorter race time than the truth. You would believe the race began much more recently than it did. So we look again at the ancient star, this child that seems older than its parent, and the question shifts. Perhaps the star is not an error. Perhaps our measurement is. Perhaps the echo took longer to reach us, traveling through a universe that expanded more slowly in its youth. The universe may not be broken. The ancient star may not be an impossible phantom. Perhaps our cosmic clock is just a little slow. Perhaps the story of creation has a few more pages in its first chapter, a few billion more years than we have been reading. And the universe is just a little older and a little grander than we ever imagined. So what do we make of this gentle paradox? This star, this whisper from a time before time. We don't wrestle with it. We don't fight it. We simply listen. We let the question hang in the air, like a single, distant bell. And in its soft, ringing silence, we allow for stories. Not stories of fact and figure, but stories of wonder. Cosmic bedtime stories, spun from the edges of what we know. Echoes in the cosmic ocean. Let your mind drift now. Imagine not one universe, but an endless sea of them, an ocean of existence, and our reality, our home, is but a single, shimmering bubble, rising in a silent, cosmic foam. Beside it, below it, beyond it, are other bubbles, countless others, each with its own light, its own laws, its own story of creation. They float in the great, dark expanse, mostly unaware of each other. But what if sometimes they touch? A gentle brush in the quiet, deep. And what if a single fleck of light, a piece of cosmic sea spray from another shore, could cross the void? Perhaps this impossible star is not our own. Perhaps it is a visitor, a refugee from another beginning, a silent traveler carrying the memory of a different sky in its ancient heart. A message in a bottle from a universe we will never know. Or perhaps the story is not of many places, but of many times. Imagine that time is not a straight line, not an arrow shot from a single bow. Imagine time is a circle, or a wave upon that endless cosmic ocean. The universe breathes, a slow trillion-year exhale. We call it the Big Bang. Space unfurls like a great sail. Galaxies ignite like embers on the wind. And then, a long, slow inhale, the great contraction. Everything gently, inevitably pulling back toward the center, back to a single, infinitely dense point of light and potential. A cosmic heartbeat. Out and in. Creation and return. Over and over, an eternal rhythm, a universe born from the ashes of the one before it, a cosmic phoenix, forever rising. And if this is true, if our beginning was just one beat in an endless song, then perhaps not everything is lost in the quiet between the notes. Perhaps something small, something impossibly resilient, can survive the passage. A diamond, forged in the heart of a previous cosmos, a single, perfect seed that weathers the cosmic winter. Our star, Methuselah, is not an error in our timeline. It is a fossil made of light, a perfect, beautiful relic from a universe that has already lived and breathed and returned to sleep. It is the last word of a previous chapter, a quiet reminder that the story of everything did not begin with us. And these are just whispers, lullabies for a curious mind. Let them hold you now, let them carry you, down into the deep, quiet, and endless dark. And if these thoughts feel like deep, swirling currents pulling you away from the familiar shore of reason, let them. Do not fight the tide. This journey is not meant to be a riddle that frustrates the mind. It is not a test with a final, correct answer. Think of it as stepping into a room you thought you knew, only to find that the ceiling has been replaced by an endless, starlit sky. The walls were never walls at all. They were merely horizons. These theories, these whispers from the dawn of time, are not here to confuse you. They are here to expand the room. They are here to show you how much more there is to see. This journey into the deep past is not a search for a definitive truth to hold on to. It is an exercise in letting go. It is a lesson in the beauty of the unanswered question. We have been taught to seek answers, to solve for X, to find the final word in every story. But the universe is not a textbook. It is a living, breathing poem, written in light and gravity. And its most beautiful lines are the ones that leave you wondering, the ones that echo long after they have been read. This new vision from Webb, this impossible galaxy, is one of those lines. It is the cosmos looking back at you, gently placing a finger to its lips. It is whispering, "There is more than you were told, more than you could have conceived. This is not a failure of our maps. It is the discovery of a new ocean. You are not lost. You are simply standing before a grander vista, the coastline of a continent we never knew existed." This is not chaos. This is art. The grand, strange, magnificent art of reality. The goal is not to tame this wildness with equations, but to feel the awe of it. To stand in this new, larger room, look up at the impossible stars, and simply breathe it all in. The universe is telling us that its story is more strange and more beautiful than we ever dared to dream, and it is inviting us to be a part of the telling. The mystery is not a void to be feared. It is a promise of infinite wonder waiting just for you. And so, we drift back. Let your gaze return to that single point of light. Look at it now. See how it has changed in your mind's eye. It is no longer just a star, no longer a simple fire burning in the deep. It has become something more, a silent witness. Imagine this light as an eye that has been open since the very first morning. It has watched the darkness give way. It has seen the birth of everything we know, and it remembers what came before. This single, steady point is a keeper of secrets, a silent guardian of the ultimate dawn. It doesn't shout its story across the cosmos. It whispers, it hums a quiet, ancient song, a lullaby from the universe's own cradle. Feel its profound stillness, its unwavering gaze across impossible gulfs of time. This is the calm, steady glow of an elder, a serene presence holding the first memory. Allow yourself to feel that same stillness, to become that single point of light in the quiet dark. Steady, peaceful, a silent witness to your own deep rest. And so we arrive at this quiet paradox, a story that seems to begin before its own first page. It can feel like a mistake, a flaw in the logic, a crack in the beautiful clear glass of our understanding. This feeling is natural. It is human. To see the frame of what we know and to feel a sense of unease when something exists outside of it. But we must breathe into this moment. For this is not a moment of failure. It is a moment of profound revelation. The purpose of the question. Imagine you have built a perfect, intricate clock. Every gear, every spring, meticulously placed. It keeps perfect time. It tells the story of every second, every hour, every age. And then, one quiet evening, you hear a chime. A single beautiful note that does not belong to any gear you built. A sound that comes from a place deeper inside the mechanism than you knew existed. Has the clock failed? Or has it just revealed to you that it is more than a clock, that it is also a music box, and you never knew to listen for the song? This is what science is. It is not the building of a perfect model that can never be broken. It is the building of a model so precise, so elegant, that when the universe presents an exception, we are able to see it. We are able to hear that impossible note. We do not send our minds and our mirrors into the dark, hoping to be proven right. That is a small and simple ambition. We send them into the great, silent dark, hoping to be shown how much more there is to learn. We draw a map of the coastline, and we sail our ships with the secret hope of finding a whole new continent. This is not an error in the map. It is the very reason we make maps in the first place, to find their edges, and to be brave enough to sail beyond them. The paradox of a star older than time is not a failure of our instruments. It is their greatest triumph. It is the universe responding to our gaze. It is the deep sea answering the fisherman's line, not with the fish it expected, but with a shimmering key to a world below. This is not the universe telling us we are wrong. This is the universe rewarding our curiosity. It has seen us looking. It has seen us learning to ask better and better questions. And so it has gifted us with a more beautiful one. This is not a collapse of our knowledge. It is an expansion. The walls of the room have just dissolved, revealing a landscape we never could have imagined. And we are invited now to take the first step. We send a telescope, a golden eye, into the absolute black. We point it towards the edge of time, a silent, patient witness, searching for a flicker of the first dawn. And in this outward gaze, we seek to understand where we came from, the grand cosmic story. But there is another direction, another search just as profound. It does not require a mirror of gold and beryllium. It does not look across billions of light years, it looks inward. Consider the vastness that telescope is observing, that quiet, limitless expanse, that deep, star-dusted mystery. Now feel the weight of your own body, the gentle rhythm of your own breath. You are on the edge of a similar expanse, a different kind of space, the inner cosmos. This is the universe you carry inside you, a realm as vast and unmapped as the celestial sphere. It has its own dark matter, the things you have forgotten. It has its own gravitational pulls, the deep currents of emotion and memory. It has its own nebulae, swirling clouds of half-formed ideas and daydreams. It is a cosmos of the self. Every night, as you drift toward slumber, you are an explorer. You stand at the shore of an unknown ocean, the world of your subconscious. Sleep is the vessel. It carries you away from the familiar coastline of the waking mind. It sails you out upon the quiet, deep waters of your own being. The James Webb Telescope peers through cosmic dust to find ancient galaxies. In sleep, your consciousness drifts through the veils of the day. It moves past the noise and the worry. It seeks something deeper, echoes of your own past, whispers from your own hidden depths. Both are journeys into the unknown. One, a voyage through space and time. The other, a voyage through self and psyche. Both are frontiers waiting for discovery. Both hold answers to the question, what else is there? And so, we hold this paradox in our hands, a cosmic koan, a story that begins before its own beginning. Feel the question in your mind. It might feel like a knot, something tight and complex, a puzzle begging to be solved. Our minds love to solve, to connect the dots, to draw a straight line from then to now. But just for a moment, let the knot be a knot. Don't try to untie it. Don't pull at the threads, simply observe its beautiful, impossible shape. Feel the tension of the question, and then with a slow, deep breath, let it go. Release the need for an answer. Let your mind's hand unclench. Let the story rest, the gentle tide of mystery. Imagine that you are no longer standing on the shore of knowledge, searching for a ship to carry you to an answer. Instead, you have simply stepped into the water. And this water is not cold. It is not frightening. It is a warm, dark, silver sea, the sea of uncertainty. And you find you are floating, effortlessly. The gentle current is the hum of the cosmos itself. The soft waves are the breaths of sleeping galaxies. There is no shore to swim to. There is no destination. There is only this gentle, peaceful suspension, this feeling of being held by the grand, beautiful mystery. You do not need to know how deep the water is. You do not need to know what lies beyond the horizon, because you are not lost. You are simply a part of the ocean, floating in a lullaby of unanswered questions. Each ripple of confusion becomes a soft caress. Each shadow of the unknown becomes a cool, comforting blanket. The search is over, not because you have found the answer, but because you have found the beauty in not knowing, the peace in the question itself. You are drifting now, weightless, in a quiet cathedral with no walls and a ceiling of soft, humming light, letting the gentle tide of what is carry you. There is no effort here, no struggle, just a deep, profound surrender, a quiet agreement with the universe, an acceptance of its poetry. You are floating in a story that doesn't need an ending, because its beauty is in the telling. Rest here, in the soft embrace of the great unknown. Let it hold you. Let it soothe you. There is nothing to solve. There is only to be. And so the great cosmic story settles, like dust from a distant, shimmering nebula. It comes to rest in the quiet rooms of the mind, the question of what came before, the whisper older than the first light. We can let it go now. We can let it hang in the velvet void, a beautiful, unanswered melody, because our journey through time is ending for tonight, and we return from the edge of everything to a single, silent watcher. The guardian of first light, imagine it again, the James Webb Telescope. A solitary mariner on an ocean of perfect black, its golden honeycomb eye unblinking. It is not looking for you. It is not looking for us. It is looking backwards, always backwards, through the long, dark hallways of time, gathering photons that have traveled for eternity, little messengers from a universe in its cradle. Each one a memory, each one a word in a story we are just beginning to read. It floats in its perfect, cold silence. A sentinel, a lighthouse keeper at the shore of creation. It is patient. Its work is measured not in hours, but in epochs. It will be there long after we have drifted into dream. It will be there when the sun rises on a world you have yet to see. It holds the vigil for all of humanity, your invitation to rest. This magnificent eye, it watches for you. It keeps its gaze fixed on the infinite mystery, so that you can close your own eyes, so that you can let your own gaze soften and turn inward. The telescope carries the weight of cosmic questions, so that you can release the small questions of your day. Let them drift away, untethered, unimportant. It is on duty, the silent guardian of the deep. Its watch has begun, and because it is watching the universe for us, we can feel safe, we can feel held, we can feel permission to let go. You can begin your own silent watch, the gentle observation of your own breath, in and out. The rise and fall of your own quiet rhythm, a universe within you. Let the world outside fade. Let the stories fade. Let the light fade into a soft, welcoming dark. The sentinel is out there, floating in the stillness, keeping the secrets of the stars. And you are here, floating in the stillness of your own bed, safe in the harbor of the night. There is nothing more to do, nothing more to know, only to feel the slow, gentle pull, the current of sleep, drawing you out into your own deep space, your own silent, peaceful vigil. Rest now, drift now, sleep. And so our journey ends for tonight, floating in a beautiful cosmic question mark. The impossible star continues its ancient, silent path through the cosmos. The James Webb Telescope continues its patient watch, and we are left not with a problem, but with a profound sense of wonder. The universe is not a closed book, but a story that is still being written, and its greatest secrets are the ones that invite us to dream. Thank you for traveling with us. May the quiet mystery of the cosmos bring you the deepest peace. Subscribe for more journeys into the night. Sleep well.